Oh yeah, about to answer some questions. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to continue my video series of the questions that everyone is asking. You've got questions, I've got answers sometimes. So today we're going to get to answer some of your questions, alright? If you have a question for me, leave it down below and I'll be sure to answer it in a future video, alright? Without further ado, let's get going. I'm still trying to figure out a way to master a DAW with my Zoom R8 recorder interface on my PC. I do not own a Mac, and any suggestions that you may have will highly be appreciated. Okay. So, I obviously own Macs, and I learned on a Mac because it just seems like that's like the industry standard, you know what I mean? So like, my advice for learning how to get involved in video and audio production for, you know, guitars and making video is literally just do it, man. Like if you wanna check out my first video, I was like 2 weeks out of my second shoulder surgery while I was still in the army. Dude, all I wanted to do is just make a video and like, but I had no idea how to edit it, how to, you know, end it. I didn't know anything. I'll put a card up here if you want to check it out. It's a Lamb of God cover and it is just garbage, man. I knew nothing about recording, about like sound design or video design, anything. So, long story short, if you're trying to like get started, I would just say I personally would say invest in a MacBook. You know, you may not want to buy a Mac, but that's my advice. Buy a Mac just because Macs, you know, in general seem to be like designed for the latest software and interfaces, etc. It seems like Mac is like, you know, the go-to brand for computers. And then just get like a cheap Focusrite, you know, USB interface. You don't need a Thunderbolt yet if you're starting out. And just get like a cheap Canon, you know, DSLR, like a T4i used on Amazon, T5i, and that'll just get you started right away. If you have any other questions about it, leave it down below and I'll be sure to answer a follow-up to this question. Thanks for the question, good question. What would be your ultimate signature guitar to have? By the way, go Army, shut up. Nice one, dude. I think every guitar player, bass player, whatever, has like that moment in their head, hey, if a company's like, I want you to be on my team, what is your signature guitar gonna be? I think everybody like has a schematic in their head, you know what I mean, of what they want. So mine is so specific because that guitar does not exist. The closest thing I've ever played to it was the EVH Wolfgang. However, I got rid of it because I had a Floyd. I don't like Floyd Roses, I hate them. Even if it's just top mounted, I won't touch a floating for like 90% of the time. I just will not touch that. And even top mounted, I can't stand the intonation and the setup with a Floyd Rose. The hardtail Wolfgang would be the closest thing as well, which I've never played. But they're just like kind of boxy and like it cuts into my forearm. So, if I was to have my own signature, it would be like an Ernie Ball Music Man hardtail with like maybe even like a stop tail bridge. Stainless steel frets, bolt-on neck through set neck, I don't care, I'm not picky. Locking tuners, ebony board, and maybe like some Fishman moderns in it, and that's what it is. I created this online, and this is like what it would be like if it was made by Ernie Ball. I would either have it in like reverse silver burst, so like I call it like X-ray burst, I just made that up, I don't know if that's a thing. And then I would have a seafoam green because I love seafoam. So, my signature guitar doesn't exist yet. However, if somebody wanted to like give me a signature Les Paul, I'd be fine with that. I'm not picky. But if I was to ever get my own signature, that's what it would be. It'd be like an Ernie Ball hardtail, stop tail piece with stainless steel frets and an ebony board. What's up, buddy? Not much. Hey, Ray. Here's perhaps a pretty typical questions that you may or may not have answered yet. How long have you been playing, and did you get lessons / do it yourself, etc.? Thanks. My father was a guitar player. He taught me how to read tabs. He kind of did it as like a hobby, you know, just kind of for fun. But basically he like said, hey, here's a guitar, here's how you read tabs, go play and have fun. And so I've never taken one lesson in my entire life. I've never sat down with a teacher. I learned literally everything on my own. I spent years and years and years just learning how to do it on my own. And how long I've been playing is a tough question to answer because I've taken some serious long breaks in my lifetime when I started playing. I started playing when I was 11, I had a little Ovation acoustic. It was called an Applause. That was my first guitar. And then I got a BC Rich Warlock, which I've since painted red, white, and black. It was on this channel once, and like the little starter pack. But yeah, like I've been playing overall probably like 11 years non-stop, but over like a 15-year, 14-year span, because I had to take like 2 years off when I was enlisted, and when I went overseas, I couldn't play then. And then I was a college baseball player for a while, so that was like my sole priority in life because that was helping me pay for my education. So on and so forth. It just like, there was things in life that were like unfortunately taking precedence over music, but now that I'm in a position where I don't have any of that now, and now I'm just trying to get healed up after, you know, getting med boarded out of the Army. So now music is my sole passion, life, and is the only thing I really want to do with my life now. So it's been awesome to just have that as my sole goal in life. So I know that's a long story, but I just want to give you a little background. I learned everything by myself, and I've been playing for about 11 years, I would say, collectively. Are you still enlisted? If so, where do you find the time to practice? So now, again, I'm not enlisted. I was actually a commissioned officer by the time I got out of the Army. But I'm no longer in the Army. I got out February 13th of this year. And but when I was in, I would only find times, okay, let me back up. When I wasn't hurt, I practiced on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, and sometimes like Friday night, but I really didn't practice much just because, like, you know, hours are 5 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. I would go to the gym and then come home and I'd go to bed. And I was just like, you know, like a monk, man, just doing that all the time, over and over. So I didn't really have much time to practice. But then once I got hurt and I was no longer doing, like, you know, the badass stuff, you know, shooting guns and stuff, when I was just kind of like waiting to get out, I practiced every day. I'd go to work. I had a desk job. I went from you know, like 6 to 5, and then after 5 o'clock, go home and play from like 5:30 to 9:30 at night. Ever tried P90s? Or always a humbucker guy? I've always tried humbuckers, and then single coils with like strats and stuff. I don't like the look of P90s, and I've never even really tried them because it's just like what I like to play doesn't really use P90s. I know a lot of people use them for like versatility stuff, or excuse me, for versatile stuff and whatever, but nah, man, my choice of pickups has changed dramatically over the last year and a half, from wanting solely passive to active, back to passive, then I found Fishmans, and I fell in love with EMGs again. So like, dude, I can't seem to stick with one thing, which is why you often see me playing a million different guitars at one time, because I like everything. So that's it for this video. Again, dudes, if you have a comment or a question for me, leave it down below in this video in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer it in a future video. That's all for this time, dudes. As always, stay metal, tell your friends, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.